every Monday evening, once you see me, it's time for the discourse, where we take a deep dive to do the analysis and answer your question about topical issue in the society. This is where we help you to understand the story behind the story. We help you put meanings to the questions and the confusion, as the case may be, out there. It's going to be a very sweet one this afternoon. We are taking a break away from politics, and we are looking at something that rocked the socks of the Ilorin metropolis, Kwara State, and Nigeria some months ago. You will recall that at a particular point in time last year, somebody was arrested for murdering and butchering that same victim of his within the Ilorin metropolis. This is something that is quite alien to us in this part of the state or in this part of the world. And it actually threw the state and Ilorin into a lot of questioning, asking why, what if, and what if not. The case of Hafsat, the College of Education student that was murdered by Abdurrahman Bello. Sometimes last year, the case from the State High Court was concluded and it was sentenced to death. However, our editorial team, came by a scoop and let the whole world know that this same person is in appeal court already, seeking for redress, as the case may be, towards that judgment. So I won't be the only one that will be doing most of the talking this afternoon. With me in the studio is a distinguished legal luminary talking about Barrister Olateju. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Yeah. So let's start. Don't let us bore the people at home with a lot of introduction. The big question on the lips of everybody is, Abdurrahman appeal. Does he have the rights to, or he doesn't have the rights to?
All right. Well, let me start from thanking you for having me this afternoon. Now, to go straight to the question you ask. Right to appeal is a constitutional right, and Abdurrahman, being a Nigerian that was tried under Nigerian law and convicted at the High Court of Kwara State, the Ilorin Judicial Division, has that constitutional right to appeal to the Court of Appeal. And if at all, if the decision at the Court of Appeal is still the same as the decision of the trial court, he still has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court. So it's his constitutional right.
Yeah, all right, that is his constitutional right to appeal. But there is this very big question. Can someone, in the case of Abdurrahman with a capital offense, actually seek for an appeal as well?
Yes, he can seek for an appeal. As I just said, he has that right. Because if you look at Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as all of that, that is the right to life. That is the general law that allows me and you to move freely, to live as a human being.
Okay.
But in that law, there are some exceptions. And part of the exception is that if someone is subject to a trial by a court of competent jurisdiction, and at the end of the trial, he was found wanting, like in the case of Abdurrahman, and he was sentenced to death. Although the life will not be taken immediately, because we have the occasion to witness such in Nigeria. It happened in Oyo State during the then military administration. There is a person called Bello. He was charged for armed robbery, and he was convicted. During the pendency of his appeal, the time within which to appeal to the Court of Appeal to set aside his sentence, the government of Oyo State rushed to execute the judgment, to kill Bello.
Okay.
Now, they appeal Supreme Court to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was of the opinion that the decision of the state government to take his life abruptly is illegal, null and void, because they have not allowed him to exercise his fundamental human right. So, as in this case of Abdurrahman also, Abraham, this is our own Abraham Bello.
Okay.
Also, he is entitled to appeal to the Court of Appeal within 90 days.
All right. I think one of the major questions on the street of social media that we harvested in the course of posting that question, that report, was the fact that why was the appeal done quietly, knowing fully well that the case was a celebrated case?
Well, I want to inform the entire public that if somebody appeal a decision of the trial court, it doesn't matter that the person will now go on here informing the whole world that they have appealed, though, because the way trial is being conducted at the trial court or the magistrate court differs from the way it is being conducted at the Court of Appeal. At the Court of Appeal, what the learned justice of the Court of Appeal want to look at is the record of the trial court and the arguments of the lawyers. Although in some exceptional cases, the Court of Appeal will invite witness to come and give evidence in some exceptional cases. But appealing, let me give you an instance, the offer robbery appeal. Who can tell me who was that he was aware when the notice of appeal was filed, when the record was transmitted? Everybody became aware when the judgment was handed down by the Court of Appeal, and the judgment was affirming the judgment of the trial court. So the way this thing works at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court differs from the way it works at the trial court and the magistrate court.
All right, that's a beautiful one. Going forward, now, there's another question on the lips of everybody. During the first trial, Abdurrahman himself could not afford a lawyer. If I'm not making a mistake, it was the state that actually provided him a lawyer. But can a state provide somebody a lawyer for appeal as well?
Well, I'm not sure that his appeal is being financed by the state, because what the law states is that at the trial, if it is obvious for some certain reasons that he cannot afford the payment of a legal practitioner, the state, through its apparatus, should provide free legal service for him, which I'm aware that the Kwara State government did. But I'm not aware that the Kwara State government is the one financing this appeal. And I'm not sure, I don't have that information at my disposal, who is responsible in financing this appeal. But I know that there's an appeal at the Court of Appeal that has been entered, record, transmitted, and we are just waiting for a hearing date from the Court of Appeal, the Lawrence Judicial Division.
All right. So now the big question now is the case still against the people of Kwara State and Abdurrahman Bello, or?
Well, Abdurrahman is the appellant now. Okay. He has appealed against the decision of the Kwara State High Court sitting in Ilorin that was premised on the charge preferred by the Office of the Attorney General of Kwara State. That is the people of Kwara State versus Abdurrahman Bello. Now, since he's the one appealing, the case is Abdurrahman Bello versus the people of Kwara State.
Okay, Barrister, people are saying this process will lead to something covering up the whole thing. In fact, some people are questioning the judiciary at that level. People are beginning to say there are hands playing from behind the scene for that appeal and the likes. What do we tell our people at home concerning this very particular issue and the judiciary? Is it still going to be justice, or we should just fold our arms and look at what happened at the end of the day?
You see, justice is three-way traffic.
Okay. Justice
for the defendant, that is Abdurrahman Bello, justice for the victim, the deceased Hafsat, and justice for the state. You see, those cardinal principles of justice, there are reasons for it. One of it is that anybody that wants to engage in that heinous act will think twice before delving into it, because he will learn from the fact that when Abdurrahman did his own, he was caught up with the hand of the law, and the law take its course. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the integrity of the judiciary is still intact. I want to believe that milords at the Court of Appeal will not look at anything except the evidence adduced before the trial court. His complaint is that there are some that the evidence proffered by the prosecution at the trial court is not overwhelming that can lead to his conviction.
But that was the next question.
Yes.
On what ground is he appealing?
That is the major ground. That is the major ground. That the evidence adduced at the trial court is not over. Sign it. So if the governor did not sign it, Abraman will still be on the death row at the correctional center.
Wow. All right, thank you very much. I think there is one very big question concerning what actually transpired between Abdurrahman and Hafsat. And please, viewers at home, we are not trying to help anybody to evade justice, but this is, we are supposed to pay Barrister for the question I want to ask, but we are still alive and anything could happen to anybody. What could have been the proper cause to have taken if someone have a guest at home and that person pass on? What is the proper thing to do for the person who is hosting that person that just passed away?
The first thing to do is that if you discover that the person is dead, you first of all, you know, death at times may be sudden.
Of course.
Now, at times, you may think it is death, and it may not be. The first thing is you first of all confirm from medical practitioners, is this person dead or alive, by rushing him to the nearest hospital. After confirming that this person is dead, the next thing is to inform the law enforcement agency. That is the next thing.
But people are afraid that once they go to the nearest police station to say that, they are in big soup already.
Anything other than that is tantamount to you destroying evidence.
Okay.
And destroying evidence or withholding evidence is a serious crime under the law. So if you are trying to doctor evidence, it's a problem on its own. So it is obvious, as me, I'm a Muslim, and I believe that according to our belief, death can happen at any time.
Of course.
Unplanned, unprepared for. So if it happened, it is left for number one, first of all, ascertain that this person is dead. After that, what are the causative factor of his death? So after that, you now take steps to report to the appropriate authorities. In the case of Hafsat, what happened was that nobody can ascertain what led to the death of Hafsat, but it was discovered that Hafsat died while in the custody of Abdurrahman. But what further informed the whole world that Abdurrahman was a principal actor in what led to the death of Hafsat was that he was trying to doctor evidence. He started cutting off the parts, and after which he went to go and drop it elsewhere. So that alone is enough to tell the whole world that Abdurrahman can give us more insight as to what caused the death of Hafsat. And the law is that if two people are in a room, one of them was confirmed dead, the other person is the first person to be suspected because of the evidence of last seen.
Okay.
He will now exonerate him or herself through credible, cogent, and compelling evidence that, look, I never did anything to warrant the death of the deceased. If we cannot do that, if the only thing he was able to do was that he was trying to doctor, or let me say to change evidence, my brother, the case will be worse. So I want to encourage our people out there, don't be too much being an hurry, or don't be too much being in panic. Just say it as it is. I want to believe that if you say it as it is, there is room for investigation as to what led to the death of a disease. From that point alone, a person that was last seen with a dead person can be exonerated. But if you have contributed one way or the other to doctor or cover evidence, the law will now shift at you that if you are not genuinely involved in the death of the disease, why must you have doctored evidence? Why must you have the intention of covering evidence?
All right. There are other 2 or 3 persons arrested alongside with the I've forgotten how you
The appellant.
the appellant now.
Yes, appellant.
Talking about
Abraham Bello,
Bello.
yes.
But they were discharged and acquitted. Do they still have any case to answer right now?
Well, they don't have case to answer because the trial court, by the evidence adduced before that court,
Okay.
has found them not wanting and they have been discharged. You see, the reason why they were picked up
Yeah, that's
initially,
the next question. What warranted their
yes,
arrest?
was that when Abdurrahman was arrested, due to some automated investigation,
Okay.
he was questioned as to how, why, and what is the reason behind him killing Hafsat.
Also,
And he was saying it repeatedly that he was the only person that got involved in the killing of Hafsat, and nobody else participated in the killing. So it is very absurd for anybody like me and you that if you have not been doing this thing before, how will you have that the mind? How would you have that effrontery to
go that extra mile.
to slaughter someone, start to cut it into pieces, remove the blood, and all of that. So it was very difficult for somebody like me, if not with credible and cogent evidence that was placed before the trial court, to believe that it was Abdurrahman alone that did the assignment. Now, a further forensic analysis of some of the social media handles, bank statement of account, and other things, phone, led to the arrest of some of the defendants,
Okay.
who before the date of the incident have one or two communications with him. But it was later discovered that those communications were not linked to the offense committed, to wit, killing of Hafsat Abdurrahman. So that was the reason why they were exonerated.
So does a normal phone call to somebody who I know who happens to be a friend, can that actually put one in trouble in case that person committed a crime?
Yeah, it can put someone in trouble because, and that is why our fathers, our father, our grandfather, they used to tell us that show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are.
But some people can actually hide who they are.
Exactly, but you need to be very careful when choosing acquaintances and friends, because I'm telling you sincerely, if there is link with respect to the commission of the crime of killing Hafsat, those people will not go scot-free, despite the fact that Abdurrahman continued to say it persistently that he is the only one responsible for the killing of Hafsat. It is hard for anybody to believe.
But it is what you said now just pop up a question. If someone admitted to a crime during trial, that he or she perpetrated this very particular evil, and that person is still going back to court, seeking for leniency or the setting aside of the first judgment, it's somehow to a layman like myself.
You see, that's our law. That's our law. We cannot go outside the provision of the law. The law is that in capital offenses, there is capital punishment attached to it. And if an offense is a capital offense that carries capital punishment, even if the person standing trial admitted, as in the case of Abdurrahman, the law, the court, the judge will write not guilty, plea of not guilty.
Okay.
Because in our law, the presumption of innocence, according to section 36(5) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has altered, tilts in favor of the defendant who is standing trial. So the bulk of the whole thing, the bulk of the whole work is on the prosecution, who are usually police, EFCC agents, EFCC officials, NDLEA, or etc., etc. So the bulk of the work is on them to come and present before the court cogent and compelling evidence to show that the ingredients of the offense of culpable homicide and all other offenses within which the defendant were charged has been established.
Okay.
So they will do that. They will demonstrate it before the court. So that is what the court will now rely on. The court will not rely on the statement of the defendant, in this case, Abdurrahman Bello, saying that he is responsible. That's one. Number two, I said it again that it is his constitutional right to appeal. If he said before the court that he is responsible for the death of Hafsat and blah blah like that, like he said, he can still have right to appeal.
But can he change his appeal?
It's not possible. That is why I said that it is on exceptional cases that the Court of Appeal will invite people to come and give oral evidence. Okay. What the Court of Appeal will look at, and the Supreme Court will look at, if the case be, is that they will look at the record. What is the appellant, Abraham Bello, complaining of? Is he complaining of fair hearing? Was he not giving fair hearing? Is he complaining that he was not given counsel of his, he was not allowed to be represented by counsel of his own choice? The court will look at it. If those complaints are not in tandem with what the trial court did, and that the trial court was right in their findings, my Lord will dismiss the appeal. So my Lord will affirm the judgment of the trial court.
Thank you, Barrister. It's been a very, very educative section this afternoon. Before we pack our bags on this show, do you have any message for those who are watching us at home?
Well, I just want to inform Nigerians that if you see something, you say something. And anybody can be a victim of circumstance. But what makes you a real victim of circumstance is for you to do the needful at the right time. If peradventure you find yourself in a shoe of next to committing a crime, you never committed the crime, next to committing a crime, and that you may be held responsible for committing that crime, the appropriate step for you is to inform the law enforcement agency. And if you are in anticipation of fear that if I report to the law enforcement agency, they will change the whole scenario against me, why can't you report to your own lawyer? So your own lawyer will advise you appropriately. But these things must be done timeously. It must be carried out in good time to save yourself any embarrassment.
Is it compulsory now for us, all citizens, to have a lawyer?
It is compulsory for every citizen to have a lawyer. If you are not a lawyer, it is better and compulsory for you to get one as your friend, because there is no how you will not fall into having legal issues. And if you have one, you cannot rush to go and make someone who you don't have any acquaintances with. So I advise that you get a lawyer if you don't want to get mad.
All right, get a lawyer if you don't want to get mad. That's the parting word of Barrister Taufik. Thank you so much for coming to this program today. It's been a very educative section we had in the studio today. I believe he has done justice to all the questions you've been asking and all the what if and what if not. I'll just say, like I always say, stay out of trouble. Don't do what I will not do. And please, get yourself a lawyer. Enjoy the rest of your week and join us again tomorrow for another exciting edition of this very particular program. We have the week lowdown for you. You have nowhere you are going, and we have nowhere we are going. We have promised to always be your only alternative to truth and factual information. This is the Informant 247 TV. You can watch the recap of this on all of our social media handle, Facebook, X, YouTube, and as well as TikTok. Till I come your way again tomorrow, I remain Ismail Akesola and keep watching our dial. Bye-bye.